My name is Marisol and I'm a health coach and a self-taught nutritional chef, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys. So does anybody know what germinated or sprouted means? These nuts go through a process in which they are soaked first, and then they're slowly dehydrated at a very low temperature for a very long time until they get very dry, and they still look the same at the end. There's no tail. They look exactly like a normal nut would look like. But the difference is that process of sprouting and germinating, what it does is you can think of the nuts have kind of taken off their jackets, essentially. They're naked during that sprouting process. And that jacket is what's also known as phytic acid. And phytic acid is, it's preventing you from absorbing all of the minerals that you could be getting from these awesome sources of fats, right? Like we all know, okay, yes, fats are great for us, nuts are good for us, okay, awesome. So now there's a spectrum of quality that we need to think about when it comes to choosing our fats, right? You could have canola oil on one end of the spectrum, or you could have freshly pressed extra virgin olive oil fresh from Italy, right? Big difference there. Same thing with our nuts. You could crack open a container of like Planters nuts. You know, maybe it's like honey roasted peanuts. I used to eat those all the time when I was a kid. Anybody else? I would like snack on those and lose track of time, and the whole thing was empty. Or you could have sprouted, germinated nuts, right? So the difference is that sprouting process, the nuts are then released of that phytic acid on the outside, which prevents you from getting those nutrients, getting those delicious vital minerals that are locked inside of these nuts. And then what happens afterwards is that, okay, so then when you eat it, not only can your body get to those nutrients faster, meaning you're going to get more benefit from eating, which I think isn't that what we all want, is to get more out of the food that we eat, right? That translates to energy, to vitality, to all of those awesome benefits. But also from just a comfort level, if you ever notice that you have digestive problems or discomfort when it comes to eating certain foods or nuts specifically, a lot of that could be the quality of those nuts that you're choosing. So the process of sprouting and germination is also allowing you to digest those nuts better, because now that it's gone through a process, it's now reactivated. The nuts are now live essentially with their nutrients, and so the body can just soak that right up, and it's going to feel much different, or it's going to feel a lot different when you eat them. So the net result is you end up having a much higher quality food, a higher energy food, a higher nutrient dense food versus a normal, like even if you were to just use raw nuts or roasted nuts, big difference here. And then the third level of that benefit, which I talk a lot about in all of my style of recipes, is that because you're using the highest quality possible ingredients, you end up not needing or wanting to eat a large quantity, which I think is another issue that I deal with a lot. I've had this with myself, I've dealt with this, as well as current clients that I'm currently coaching with nutrition, is this idea of like not knowing how much is enough. Portion control, how much do you need to have, having to feel like you need to measure things. You can cut all of that out and you can still enjoy and totally indulge yourself in delicious foods if you choose the right quality foods. And so again, when you're using high quality such as these, right, you're going to notice that you don't need to eat big bowls and bowls full of this to feel like, okay, I'm satisfied. See, I just put a little sprinkle, or maybe I just take a little bite here. I don't need to sit down with a huge bowl of it like I might have in the past with a big bowl of cereal, because it's so dense, it's so rich, and it has so much to offer my body. And so I really encourage you guys to get your hands on some of these. I will admit they're not the easiest to find, but I believe that if you have the intention to take care of your body and you're willing to spend a little bit more money, why not with your food? That's literally what I spend my money on, is my food, and I don't regret that at all. So For me personally, luckily, if you live in Miami, which I know a lot of us are from Miami, you can go once everything goes back to normal. The Coconut Grove Farmers Market is my favorite place to purchase all of my sprouted nuts and seeds. It's the easiest place to get it. They're not cheap, like I said. Usually a 16-ounce bag is gonna cost you around $16 to $17. But if you're chopping them up like we're gonna do today and putting it into a granola, it makes it it will last you pretty long. You could go out to eat a lot and spend a lot of money there, or you could spend on some high quality ingredients that are for recipes that you can make at home. And like I said, once you pick up my ebook, which launches, you'll be able to find different fun ways of using all of these ingredients. So I highly recommend it. That's where I get a lot of my nuts from. But if you didn't want to, if you're not from Miami, or right now I know that the farmers markets might not be open, you can also go online and just search sprouted or germinated organic nuts and seeds.